Hi everyone, and welcome back to today's episode of The Daily Grind. Today I want to talk to you about PowerMesh and PowerNet and what are the differences. And PowerMesh and PowerNet really come in handy in garment making as well as swimsuit making. So I'm going to explain the differences here. Many of you know that I am on a swimsuit making kick and I have done previous videos on swimsuit making. Most of the time in my swimsuits, I'm going to use PowerMesh. So PowerMesh is a very sheer fabric and it has more stretch one way and less stretch another way. So where do I use PowerMesh? Anytime I'm working with a bra style top, which is all the time in a swimsuit, I'm going to be using, I would say 95% of the time, I'm going to be using PowerMesh. All right, so the swim fabric fits very close to the body as -E, so it's made to be snug, but PowerMesh gives it that added support in areas that you want. So I almost always line my cups or the fronts with PowerMesh. I will also tend to line the backs with PowerMesh if I feel it needs it. I don't always use PowerMesh on the back, but I almost always use it on the front of anything that is supporting the bust. All right, so let's move on to PowerNet. PowerNet is different because although it kind of looks and feels a little bit like PowerMesh, it's definitely beefier. So this has minimum stretch this way and minimum stretch this way. Not much stretch at all. So where would you find PowerNet? PowerNet is what you're going to find in shapewear. Like if you buy Spanx, something very snug to get a great look under a very fitted garment, this is what you're going to use. Every once in a while, like let's say if I was making a crop top and I was using a super stretchy double brush poly and I did not want to wear a bra, I may consider using PowerNet just to keep everything up and into place. You got to be careful because this is compression. It's not like you want to push on it. Sometimes I'm looking just for that lift, and if I'm using cups to sew in, I might get the look I want with the PowerNet. But most of the time, I rely on PowerMesh with or without cups. This right here is a swim top. I'm holding it upside down, but this triangular piece right here is lined with PowerMesh. So I get a little bit more support, and I'm going to show you how this looks because I modeled this bikini. It is right here. So you can see I'm getting really good support. I'm getting that cleavage that I want to look like I want it to look, but overall I was very pleased. It's very supportive and it's giving me the look that I want. So if I turn this around, I didn't use swim lining on this because this was designed to be reversible. So I used black fabric on the inside, I used this fabric on the outside, and I used the PowerMesh only on this front piece. So that worked out really well. Now this one right here, this is a swim top. I added my cups after the fact because I didn't know exactly where to put it. And I'll put a picture of this bikini top being modeled right here. And you can see that this is one of those tops where it ties around the front and in the back. So until you make it up, you won't know exactly where to place your cups. So this is one style where I actually hand stitched my cups in so I would know exactly where they should be placed. But on this front, I still have a couple pins in here I forgot to take out. On the front right here, this is the bra cup inside, I lined part of this with PowerNet. So PowerNet, I cut a partial piece of the front from here to about here, and I basted it on the sides. I don't want to use PowerNet on the entire garment, or else it's just not going to have that stretch that you need for a swimsuit to tie it around your body. I did also self-lined with swim fabric, so I didn't have to use swim lining, but I did use PowerNet on partial area of the front, and I am very happy with the way it turned out. Here are some bikini bottoms that you can line with PowerMesh. Now on my bikini bottoms on the front, this is where I like to put that PowerMesh. But if I wanted to, like let's say on this one, I think this one is really applicable toward PowerNet. You may want tummy control on that front piece. If you're adding the more compression type of PowerNet, you're not necessarily going to want to cut a whole piece. So you might want to cut a piece of PowerNet that extends to the seams right here on the front down to about here. It's okay to keep that free because it's going to be covered up by your lining, and then just have that compression in this area only using that PowerNet. Try it out. What's the worst that can happen? If it's too tight, you simply cut it out. But overall, I think you're going to get a really nice look on some of your bikini bottoms with strategic use of the PowerNet. Here is another bikini bottom. I used the PowerNet on the front from here down to about here. So you're just cutting a partial piece of that pattern to use that compression PowerNet. As always, the best thing to do is to make a muslin and make sure that your garment fits before cutting into good fabric. You may have to make one muslin, you may have to make a second one. I know it took me 2 tries before I got the third perfect swimsuit, and this is when I started making it back in 2012. So I hope this cleared up a little bit of the mystery behind using PowerNet or PowerMesh in your swimsuit. All right, you guys, take care and happy sewing. In order to get the best results with PowerMesh and PowerNet, you